Hello, peace be upon you, and good day to you. Welcome to the Defensive Stories channel. As usual, I ask you to please follow our channel, subscribe, and hit the bell next to the subscribe button so that if we post something, you will be among the first to see it and hopefully share your thoughts afterward. Now, regarding the hot news that has been published in these early hours, the destruction of the radar system of the ARO-2 and ARO-3 missile defense systems of Israel by the Fattah hypersonic missile was reported. First, let's see what features these hypersonic missiles have. Well, the hypersonic missiles made by Iran have speeds of about 8 to 12 Mach, meaning 8 to 12 times the speed of sound. Some say that in some accounts it has been mentioned as 12 to 15 Mach. The next point is that these missiles have maneuverability both inside and outside the trajectory, meaning they are somewhat hybrid missiles. Another point is that because they have maneuverability and high speed, they can almost bypass all air defense systems. Why is targeting the ARO-2 and ARO-3 missile systems important for us? You see, we usually hear about Israel's famous Iron Dome. While Israel has more powerful air defense systems, the most powerful among them are the ARO-2 and ARO-3. The ARO-2 has a range of 70 kilometers, and its engagement altitude is up to 50 kilometers. However, the ARO-3 has a range of up to 2,400 kilometers and an engagement altitude of up to 100 kilometers. This makes it very significant in this regard. We need to understand that ballistic missiles typically come from outside the atmosphere. This missile has the capability to cover the first layer outside the atmosphere at about 100 kilometers, meaning it can target missiles outside the atmosphere. It has a speed of about 9 Mach, which is the speed range of the ARO-2 and ARO-3 missile systems. When you target this missile system with the Fattah hypersonic missile, or better said, when you target its eye, meaning its radar, once you hit the radar, the missile system becomes ineffective, no matter how strong your missile is. Without radar, it cannot track and hit its target. This point emphasizes that you have blinded Israel's eye at high altitudes, blinding Israel's defensive shield, and it can no longer see. As a result, you have access to areas that were previously covered by this air defense system. When you use the Fattah missile to disable this radar system, its importance lies in the fact that you have struck a strategic system. The Iron Dome system, for instance, covers a short altitude range of about 5 to 10 kilometers. Despite its fame, the Iron Dome is not as powerful as the more important and advanced missile defense systems, the ARO-2 and ARO-3. When you target these systems, it's worth mentioning that both systems are made by Israel and manufactured in Rafael factories. This gives you the advantage that you no longer have a threat that can track your missiles at high altitudes. If you can eliminate this in the first phase, in the next phase, you can attack with much simpler and more conventional missiles and disable the missile systems that are meant to target you in the sky. What is important for us is that when you hit Israel's strategic missile system with the Fattah missile, in the next wave of your attacks, you can also attack the enemy with more conventional ballistic missiles. Why? Because the air defense systems facing you are no longer that powerful. Call of David and the Iron Dome are not as powerful.
Videotape of this attack shows what appear to be hypersonic missiles, coming in in significant quantity and hitting what they're, hitting something on the ground. Some of them may have been intercepted, but not all of them. This appears to be part of the Iranian strategy of saturation attacks. If you take a look at the quantity of the missiles being fired, it simply overwhelmed Israel's air defense systems. The Iranians also appear to have made use of the more sophisticated missiles, the hypersonic Fattah 2, they fired to take out the ARO-2 and ARO-3 surface-to-air missile or anti-missile defense shields. I've been looking at some videos that look as though the Iranians were deploying sophisticated warheads that have multiple warheads and decoys and accelerating warheads. So they used a variety of means. Back in April when we talked about this, I said, look, the Iranians led off with old stuff. It was just basically to exhaust the Israelis, exhaust the air defense, and then they finished with a dozen or so of the good stuff, and all of those hit their target. And at the time, I said this was Iran putting a marker on the table, saying the next time you're just going to get the good stuff. Well, this was the next time Israel got the good stuff, and what we saw here is that Israel is defenseless, utterly. You may shoot down 10% of the incoming missiles, but the bottom line is Iran saturated Israel's missile defense shield, and it wasn't just Israel's. Israel had the assistance of the United States Navy, and American THAAD systems. The Jordanians were actively involved, bragging about how they shot down one or two missiles. So you basically had the world's densest, most sophisticated ballistic missile shield being exposed as utterly useless. And this is a signal in and of itself to the Israelis, because they are talking about retaliation. And if Israel retaliates in a significant way, Iran has already reloaded all 180 plus launchers that were involved in the first one. They have others in reserve. Remember, right now, Iran is also holding a loaded pistol against the head of the United States, letting the United States know that if they get involved in any offensive action against Israel, Al-Udeid Air Base in Qatar will be destroyed just like Nevatim was. There's no defense against it. Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq will be destroyed just like Nevatim was. There's no defense against it. And Iran may strike the American naval base in Bahrain, the home of the Fifth Fleet. This was a tremendous display of capability by Iran, one that Israel and the United States would do well to reflect on before undertaking any precipitous moves.
The myth of the Iron Dome has completely collapsed in this recent attack by Iran. It has turned into an iron sieve, meaning that Iranian ballistic missiles are completely passing through this legendary defense.
This is what they themselves have said before. This person is not a little, God willing, it will be a lot.